If you haven't yet seen my last video on how barbaric and inhumane Iranian women have been treated over compulsory hijab for the last 40 years, I urge you to go to my page and check that video out. But compulsory hijab and Mahsa's murder is only one of the reasons why Iranians are protesting. Now I'm going to share some of the anti-female laws written in the Islamic dictatorship's constitution in Iran. First and foremost, according to the Islamic constitution of Iran, a female's worth is half of a man. Therefore, the following laws are written accordingly. A female cannot legally become president or a judge. Every female citizen of Iran must obtain the permission of her father in order to marry. The husband by law is the head and the decision maker of the household. A married woman must reside in a residence decided by her husband. Every married Iranian woman needs her husband's written consent in order to obtain a passport and cannot leave the country without her husband's consent. A husband can legally revoke his wife's work permit if he does not wish her to be employed. The wife is by law required to obey her husband and to comply with her duty of sex, which she is not allowed to withhold. A wife will inherit 1/8 of the husband's assets after his passing, while a husband gets 1/4 of the wife's assets after her passing. The right to divorce belongs to the man. If a woman wants to file for divorce, she has to go through many hurdles and prove why she deserves a divorce, which whether or not she gets a divorce will be decided by a judge who's a man. In the matter of custody of the children after divorce, daughters age 7 and up and sons ages 2 and up automatically belong to the father. In the cases of the father's death, daughters age 7 and up and sons ages 2 and up belong to the family of the father, grandfather or uncles on the father's side. A man is allowed 4 wives at the same time, while a woman is allowed 1 husband, and infidelity of a woman can be punishable by death by stoning. And if a man catches his wife while having intercourse with another man, he is allowed to put her to death. A man is also allowed temporary wives, which is prostitution, where you can legally wed a woman for a decided period of time, which is mostly used for bedding them. And the temporary marriage is revoked on the contractual expiration date. The legal age for girls to be married off in the Islamic constitution of Iran is 13, but girls younger than 13 may be wed with the permission of the father. Married young girls, children, are exempt from getting an education. A daughter will receive half of the inheritance of that of a son. Women by law are required to abide by the Islamic dress code. The punishment is imprisonment, paying a heavy fine, or being lashed as many times as decided by the court. The age for receiving punishment in the full extent of the law is 9 years old for females and 15 years old for males. A female's testimony is also worth half of a man. In the court of law in Iran, if you have a witness that is a female, it will not be enough. Therefore, you need 2 females to counter a male's testimony. In cases where a father or the father's male relatives murder their daughter or wives, they may be forgiven under the law. In terms of war guilt, the amount of compensation paid by a person committing an offense to the injured party, or in cases of death to his family. A woman's worth is half of a man. If a woman is murdered by a man, and the woman's family want the murderer to pay with his life, the victim's family must first pay the murderer's family the other half of the wear guilt because he is a man and she was a woman. And that is only a few of the horrific and discriminatory laws against women in the Islamic dictatorship of Iran's constitution. So the fight isn't only about compulsory hijab, even though compulsory hijab is more than enough of a reason. The fight is for